Hi, welcome to Consult Kriba YouTube channel. I am Mahalakshmi Arun Rajkumaran, co-founder of Consult Kriba. Today in this video, we are going to see about a very important topic. The question we regularly receive, what is reverse sourcing method? Before I get into the details of reverse sourcing method, I want to share a little bit about the backstory of how reverse sourcing method was created. I started my export business in 2011. Within 3 months of time, I got an export order from Spain for castor oil. When this success story was published in a magazine, many exporters approaching me asking one question, how to find buyers. This was in the year 2011. Back then, I did not have an answer for any exporters how to find buyers. Because little did I know, I found buyers because of reverse sourcing method. Then 2015, I went back to UK and there I was importing areca palm plates into Scotland. Why I mentioned Scotland specifically? During that period of time, usually the areca palm plates get imported into England and that was distributed from England to Scotland. Again, many exporters started approaching me with the same question, how to find buyers. That's when we found out a big gap. Exporters are using a lot of different ways to find buyers, like going to exhibition, trade fair, country visit, B2B portals, getting custom data, using their network. But then there is one challenge, export sales. That's when in the year 2017, me along with some exporters and experts in export industry, we wanted to target the specific challenge, export sales. Why some exporters are able to be successful in whatever happening in the world, whether it is war, political risk, currency fluctuations, banks challenges, but yet some exporters for many years they try a lot of different ways in finding buyers and getting export orders, but still struggling. That's when reverse sourcing method was born. Now I'm going to take into the details of how reverse sourcing method is different from usual traditional exports business approach. So let's see, today we have two exporters, for example. One is following usual regular export business approach and the other one is following the reverse sourcing method approach. For example, this exporters want to export coconut oil from India. So what do? Let's say the exporter A, who follows the traditional export approach, he has the coconut oil. He goes to Google or he uses the usual statistics platforms like DGCIS or Trade Map. Find out the countries which are importing the coconut oil. And then they get the buyer data through different ways and then they start the approach. They get some reply or they may not get a reply. And then the first conversation starts with the quotation. Once given the quotation, the typical conversation revolves around the price and payment term. If you agree at this point of time, please comment I agree in the comment. Now let's see the exporter B, who has the same coconut oil. The first thing, instead of finding the buyer's details or the countries which export, the reverse sourcing method starts not with the HS code but specification of this product. A coconut oil, there are different varieties of coconut oil, virgin, raw, extra virgin. So this exporter starts with the specification and understand the functionality of this coconut oil. When studying this functionality of the coconut oil has a high moisture property in it and this is much suitable for cold countries, and he specifically focused in Germany because he has the certification that goes very well with EU's compliances. Then this exporter wants to target a particular type of buyers because this exporter can only export 10 tons per month, but they can do the white labeling. So instead of targeting any importer, this exporter targets only the brands which are operating in cold pressed oil and especially for skin care. Once this is clear, this exporter B prepares the customs related proof that a buyer wants. If they have to import from this exporter, there is a trust. Then they prepare the profile and the proof a importer would be interested. Then they approach the buyer. Now you tell me which exporter is better in their export process. This is exactly the reverse sourcing method. In reverse sourcing method, that's why majority of our exporters skip the challenges of price discussion and payment term discussions because they prove their importers, they know the business, they know the market, and they are well prepared to execute the export order. So there are different activities as an exporter you have to do on day-to-day basis. You have to understand the market requirements, you have to know the buyer psychology, you have to be prepared with the compliances needed for the market, and you have to exactly know what is the communication to do with the exporters and how to follow up professionally and close the order. Here reverse sourcing method at every single stage, it backs up with the exporter's unique selling proposition, the market happenings, opportunities and evidence. This puts you in a better opportunity and clarity that you don't have to worry about will anyone buy from me. It's all about why someone should buy from you. That's why there is a huge difference from common traditional method and reverse sourcing method. In common traditional method, people approach general importers or agents and then they approach with the same type of messages and get into the same challenges of pricing, payment term, and then some converts into the orders. But in the reverse sourcing method, you know exactly what type of buyers, what are their expectations, how your business, not the product. Here you don't just focus on the product, your business as a whole. There are 4 types of unique selling proposition you can play in the international market, and there are 7 type of buyers are there. Each buyers have different approach, and there are 4 areas a buyer will expect whether you are well prepared to do business with them. So this is the major difference between the reverse sourcing method and normal approach to export business. Now if you are interested to implement reverse sourcing method and if you are not sure where to get started, this is where we do our exports growth activation program, which is a 3-day program where you will go into understanding your export opportunity based on reverse sourcing method, how to find this high quality importers for your business, what are the 90 days action plan you have to follow, and different schemes from India and your importing country that protects your payment and pricing. So you can check out the details in the description and be part of our next export activation program. And I'll see you there. Thank you.